Hi everyone. I feel like I'm behind the draw today. It's been a very crazy weekend. Um, I've got lots of notes. I've had lots of emails from people. I feel like I've been talking to people by email all weekend too. It's been a great weekend in that respect. But I'll get to the news in a minute. Some housekeeping things to start with. First of all, can you hear me properly? Is the sound coming through fine? Let me know. Also, as soon as you get here, please say hello so I can see who's here too. It's nice to know I'm not talking to a vacuum. Okay, and in the meantime, if you have any questions for email at all, hi Beth, finally someone's here. Just to recap, make sure I can hear, oh, Audrey can hear me fine too. Hi Audrey. If you have any questions at all, I've had quite a few emails this week from people who are shy about putting their questions in the comments section. So that's fine. I'll run through those questions today and answer them if I can. There's one that's kind of, but we'll see how we go with that one. In the meantime, let me know where you are located so everyone else can see where you are too. I know that I get a few people from Australia, which is really fun. The other thing I wanted to mention to you too, if you have a look at the top of your comment section, there's the three little dots there. If you click on that, there is an option there for you to subscribe to live notifications. And what that does is when you subscribe to that, Facebook will pop up with an alert for you every time I have a Facebook live session. So you get instant notification that I'm off, ready to go. Plus, you also get the live link to the video, so you don't have to hunt around looking for it, which is, I find, is really convenient because sometimes the videos get buried and you can't find them. So you end up like spending 5 minutes looking around the page trying to find where the video is. So if you subscribe to the live notifications, that solves like 2 problems in one hit. So give that a try and see how you go. Rhode Island, Beth, hi. That's quite a while. And Mark is here. Hi. What else is there? So, oh yes, and the question for the day. Hello, Karen. Hi. Let us know where you are. Question for the day. It's Halloween. Well, it's almost Halloween. And considering that I'm addicted to sugar, tell me in comments, let's have a vote. What's your favorite Halloween candy? What is it that you tend to chow down on Halloween? Or alternative, what do you avoid like the plague? What do you not buy so that you don't eat the whole bowl for yourself? So let me know. I know there's some strange candy that seems to be a Halloween tradition that I can't stand. And there's other stuff that I could eat the whole bowl all by myself, no problems whatsoever. Chocolate is a particular weakness for me, but so is licorice. But nobody hands out licorice at Halloween. That's sort of an Australian sort of English thing. I love licorice. Anyway, who else have we got there? Oh, Reese's peanut butter cups. Yeah, that's the standard. We've got a couple of votes there. Don't like the peanut butter cups. Mark loves them. I can't stand them. I don't like peanut butter. I guess I didn't grow up eating it, so it's not a big one for me. Anyway, we'll check on the Halloween candy as we go through. I wanted to, hello Lisa, hi, I'm just going to scroll here. Pennsylvania and red licorice. Oh yes, that is another favorite, isn't it? Yes. And Mark's put in a vote for peanut butter cups. Of course he did. And hello Pamela, hi. You like Smarties? Yeah, now Smarties are a good one. I like those. The M&Ms are not quite the same thing, but when I was in Vegas, I visited the M&M store. Oh my God, that place is amazing. And the smell, all you can smell is warm chocolate. Oh, wow. That place is a disaster. Do not go there if you're trying to control your calories. You'll die. But even just the colors are really interesting. Plus, in the M&M store, you can walk up and say, look, I want a pound of just red M&Ms, and that's what you get. Or you can get your name printed on them, which is really cool too. Good gift. But so, okay, if you've just come on board, I just wanted to mention that if you look at the top of the comments, there is, or it might be down here, I don't know, it may display differently on your screen, but there is the three little dots at the top, and if you click on that, there is an option to subscribe to live notifications. And I just wanted to mention this because it does two things. One, it'll pop up with a notification every time I'm live, and two, it gives you the shortcut to the video, so you don't have to like float around on the page looking for it, which sometimes the videos can get buried. So just mention that one there. And I think, checking my notes are really long today, and I have to remember to keep scrolling. I wish it would do this automatically, it would be nice. Oh, we have another Reese's peanut butter cups. That's Robin. Hello, Cheryl. Red Twizzlers. Cheryl's in Colorado. And Yanni, Almond Joy. I'm not entirely sure I know what Almond Joy is, so you may have to explain that for us and let us know. Although, remember, I'm Canadian, but not grown up here, so it could be something from somewhere else that nobody's really familiar of. So give us a description. Sounds kind of interesting. So news. Let me go through the news while everyone's telling me what their favorite Halloween candy is. If you didn't hear, I had an absolute disaster of a weekend. It was, oh my God, it was just awful. It started off with, and this is, I have to say this, thank you to the reader, and you know who you are. Thank you for letting me know that there was a problem. I got an email from a reader who said, oh, the email that you just sent out had a dud link. It's not working. And I thought, I kind of threw my hands up because it was like Friday afternoon. And anyway, I rushed in there. And if you subscribe to my email, you know what happened next. I sent out another email with the corrected link in it. And that was wrong too. Anyway, I had a hissy fit. I sort of got back onto the email software and found out it wasn't me at all. It was the email service. Started screaming at the email service about their software stripping out links and doing all sorts of things that were embarrassing me in front of quite a few thousand readers, and heard nothing back, nothing at all. It was bad. It was really bad. So I spent the weekend swapping over to another software site, so another email service provider. And I mean, this is a marathon because I have to make sure that everyone that gets transferred over, so if you've subscribed to my letter, you know that you can subscribe to channels. You can decide if you want to hear just about science fiction romance or historicals or whatever. All that had to come over, and all the emails that are associated with that, and all the emails for the street team, and there is a lot of stuff that has to come over. And I had to do it as fast as possible because I didn't trust the old company to be able to send out an email that had links that worked. I mean, that's really bad. So I basically spent all of Saturday and dreamed about it Saturday night, and then got up and worked through until about 2 p.m. yesterday before I had everything finished. But it's done now, thank God. And I think there's actually some positives with the new email service provider that I'm with. I think you'll notice, I mean, they don't have the pretty emails anymore. I kind of miss that. But apart from the pretty emails, they've got some really interesting services. and behind the scenes connections and stuff like that, lots of integrations. So you may notice that things get swapped up a little bit as we go on. But that was my weekend. It was an absolute disaster. Got through it though. Hopefully I won't have to do that for a while. So let's just have a quick look at comments. Okay, Almond Joy is coconut with a milk chocolate covering and a full almond between the chocolate and the coconut. Okay, that would kill it for me. Sorry, the coconut, not a big fan. But anyone who does like them would probably love them. Yeah. Mounds also have dark chocolate. Wow. Okay. Well, also, I mean, sugar. I just like milk chocolate. That's my favorite. There is a type of chocolate you can get in Canada called hedgehogs from a chocolate company called Purdy's. They come in a triangular box that is purple. My favorite color purple ever. It's a gorgeous color. And they're hedgehog shaped, and they're filled with hazelnut praline, as well as this like world-class chocolate covering on the top. They are lovely. I could eat a whole box of those all by myself. But people don't hand them out as Halloween candy, unfortunately, because they're a little bit expensive. But that's my weakness. Continuing on with the news, in between like screaming at email service providers, let me have just quick. Everyone's drooling over the Almond Joys. We seem to have started something there. Okay, continuing news. I'm going to try something tricky here. Because there is a 30-second delay, you won't see this until after I've moved on. So I'm going to drop this in really quickly now. Just have to get my cursor working properly. Okay, we'll see how long it takes for that to pop up. A new book that's just come out on pre-order is War Dukes of Britain. Let's start that again. War Duke of Britain. Once and Future Hearts, Book 4, new cover, new blurb. There is a link in comments. If you click on that, I probably wouldn't do it now, but you could do it later, or you could do it now if you want. Entirely up to you. You can go off to the page on my site, and there is an excerpt there. You can see the cover, and if you are so inclined, you might be inclined to check out the rest of the series, and you can even buy it right there if you want to. Now's a good time. Any of my books that are on pre-order are almost half the price of what they are at full retail, so it's a good time to grab them when they're on pre-order. And if you buy them directly from me, I release the book on my site a week earlier than I do on any of the bookstores. So you get it a week early. Just another little bonus. Anyway, that's the last about my books right now, except for one more, the other piece of news. So let's drop this in there. Okay. Someone likes something. Oh, Mark lets me know that the comments do pop up immediately. That's good. Great. I think they actually delay the comments so that they turn up at the time that I'm actually doing it. So, and yes, the Degree of Solitude, that's the next book that's just come out on pre-order. Book 9 of the Scandalous Scion series, and I can't believe I put it up this morning and someone has already bought a copy. Can you believe it? And they know who they are too. And thank you very much. But yeah, I'm already selling copies on that one. I only just got it up this morning. That one comes out in April, so we're a little bit ways off that one. We've still got one more of the Scandalous Scion series to come out before that one. Rules of Engagement comes out first, and then this new one, which is Degree of Solitude, book number 9. So that's all there is for those right now and any news. Before I go on, any questions? Audrey, I'm not sure what you mean by link popped. Does that mean that it didn't work? Because I seem to be having problems with links at the moment, so let me know. So, okay, any questions, any tech problems, let me know. And just a reminder that we're talking about Halloween candy at the moment. If you've just joined us, let us know what your favorite candy is. Also, just even say hello in comments so I know you're there. It's really nice to know who's watching. And let us know where you are. And here's another thing too, not every country in the world does Halloween. I didn't do a Halloween until I got to Canada, and I arrived October 4th, so it was like 4 weeks later and suddenly I'm into the middle of a Halloween that I had no idea what it was about. I knew people got dressed up and that they got candy, but I had no idea what the actual process was. So that was my first Halloween, was when I was an adult. If your country does Halloween a different way or doesn't do Halloween, maybe let us know. I'm always interested to find out how other people, how they celebrate different things. So I had a question during the week, and oh yes, and this is another thing too. If you have a question, any question at all, and you didn't really feel like putting it into public comments down here, feel free to email me, and I can always talk about it next week. I've had a couple of questions come through this week that the reader was too shy to actually put them in public comments, and so I'm going to answer them today. And you can do that too if you want to like phrase it properly or have a think about how you're going to say it. That's fine too. Send me an email, and we'll take it from there. I had a question from Dina. I got the name right. Dina's question was, when is the Endurance going to make landfall, or will the ship be their home until it just gives out? Who are the ones out there? Okay. Complicated question to answer. I should probably set this up a bit. Yanni is in Utah and misses everything about Canada. Okay. Cheryl, hi. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Maria says she just wants to say, I love the cover for Born of No Man. The man reminds me of Sean B. Yes, yeah, he does sort of, doesn't he? One of his, well, let me just reassure you, the main character in Born of No Man does not die in the book. But yes, Sean Bean, he's a good actor. I like him. Okay, to get back to Dina's question, she was asking about the Endurance. Now, if you're not familiar with all my books, particularly those that are in the backlist that I haven't added to the series for a while, the Endurance is a series. It's science fiction romance, and it's set on what they call a generation ship. Generation ships are ships that set out from Earth, and they intend to take 100, 200 years to get to their destination because they're not faster than light. They're very fast, but they cannot break the faster than light barrier. This is before science and technology discovers how to do that in most science fiction universes. So the ships themselves are these huge worlds that contain generations of people, which is where the name comes from, generation ships. The Endurance is a generation ship, and that's what the entire series is based on. Everything takes place on that ship, which is huge. Okay, can everyone still see me? I got a notice saying that I needed to log in again. Can you give me a quick hello? And with that, I hope everyone finds their way here. I just had technical troubles and it kicked me off, which is unfortunate because I was in full flood about the endurance series and all that sort of stuff. If you find your way here, let me know. Also, because I didn't stop long enough to find out where the other video finished, let me know what you missed out on and I'll try and retrack on that one. Audrey, thank you. Hi, you made it. Cool. You can see me too. So now, where were we? We were talking about the endurance and that it's a generation ship and that the entire series is set on this ship. And it's supposed to be a 1,000-year journey to get to the end. And so every book is 20 years, 30 years between the other one. So there's always a romance in each one. It's a romance series. Now, Dina's question was, when is the endurance going to make landfall? Okay, I have to back up a little bit here and just explain. I originally stopped writing the series because the sales were not very good for it, which is unfortunate because I really like science fiction romance. However, a lot of the really popular and high-selling science fiction romance excuse me for a second, I'm on another video. That was just my daughter-in-law Robin telling me that I had died on the previous video. And she's going, oh, you're not live anymore, but I'm actually here. Okay, can I just do a quick check here? Is everyone still able to see me? So, okay. And there we go, everyone's starting to join up again. So I was just saying about the endurance series and why I stopped writing it, because all the very super popular stuff was green heroes and forced breeding, and you can probably tell from my voice and my face that it was not my favorite cup of tea at all. And because I wasn't really comfortable writing that sort of stuff, and because sales were not very good unless I was writing that sort of stuff, I had to let the series go. So I let it go for a little bit, and every now and again I get questions from people asking about it, but I'm still not sure if it's worthwhile getting back into it because the sales were pretty low when I was doing it originally. Having said that, it's still an open series. It's one I haven't finished, and I do know the ending of it. The end of the series, I know how it finishes. But I can't tell you that because that's going to spoil it. Do they make landfall? Sort of. Maybe. Yes, with a twist. So I don't want to say anything else because it'll spoil it. Let's say that, to answer Dina's question, I won't add too much detail because just in case I ever get around to writing it again, I'm always looking for a way to include it because I personally love writing science fiction romance. I grew up reading science fiction rather than romance, but so that's it. The combination of the two is great. There's also another series that everyone keeps asking me about, which is the spin-off series for Interspace Origins. And if you watch the, if you follow my science fiction romance at all, you'll know that's the one with, and I can't spoil it, Bedivere, the character of Bedivere. You should remember him. Just so quick comments. Let's have a look here. Audrey, I love the whole society you created for the endurance. Yeah, it's a fun little society, isn't it? 5,000 people, that's all, no more, no less. And hello Ingrid, I see you made it. And Lisa made it over too, good, that's great. Lisa says, I would love to have more and a conclusion to the journey. Yeah, I feel a bit the same way, Lisa. It's really a matter of making sure. It's very difficult to justify spending 4 weeks writing a book if I'm only going to sell about 12 copies. And that's kind of where I was getting down to at the end, because, like I said, it wasn't green heroes and forced breeding and all sorts of nasty stuff. So, but it's still there. It's still a possibility. I'm not saying I'm never going to write it. I just need to find a way to fit it into the schedule so that I can keep the production of the really popular series going at the same rate that I'm doing them now. So, any questions? Obviously, everyone's making it over, no problems. Now, one of the questions that I got from a reader, and this is one of the readers that was a bit shy about doing it in public, so she just sent me an email and I said that I would answer it on live. So if you're there, hi. And the question was, why do some Kindle books have the X-ray feature where people, places and things can be looked up? I have noticed that in the same reading series, book 1 may have the X-ray feature, but not subsequent books. Is it too expensive? Okay, that's another question that's kind of complicated for me, so let me run through it. I don't use a Kindle. I don't use the Kindle application. I actually use Google Reader, which one of these days I'll walk you through and show you how I use it, because it's a little bit different from your average Kindle. So having said that, I'm not really sure what the X-ray feature is. I can guess and say it's something that lets you look up. If you highlight a word, it'll tell you what that is, which I think is a dictionary feature. So if everyone here who does use Kindle, and if you understand what that question is and you know about the X-ray feature, perhaps you can help out the reader by explaining in comments about the differences between book 1 and the other books. The other part of that is, well, and the other thing is too, it might be worthwhile asking Amazon if you really want the answer too. The other thing I wanted to add with that one is, if there is some sort of X-ray feature, it is not something that the author adds into the book. It's not a paid feature or anything like that. It's clearly something that Amazon adds to the Kindle books, and it could be that because the books are, maybe it's something that they add to the books that they publish themselves as opposed to what indie authors publish, like me. It's very hard to tell. As I don't use Kindle, I'm not entirely sure which books have them and which don't. And again, if you do know something about this, please send it into comments. So, and another question that I had from another reader, why do some Kindle books have the X-ray feature? Oh, sorry. That's the first question. Let's go back to the second question. For the vast majority of books, I have noticed that around the 70% mark into the book, the excitement has built to reveal that the characters are now admittedly in love. Is this a coincidence, or is it just natural to have this big reveal at this point in a book? Is that what is known as denouement? I always look forward to the 70% point in a book because I feel it will be a moment of truth. Actually, that's very perceptive of you. It is actually, there is a structure that all classic fiction fits into. It's called the 3-act structure, which they use for movies. Some writers call it the 4-act structure because they put a division between the big second act and they 1, 2, 3, 4 instead of 3. That 70% mark, it's actually 75%, is the end of the second or the third act, depending on which structure you're talking about, just before you get into the 4th act. Now that 4th act is the final act. That's where everything is known. You know who the bad guy is, you know everything about the story, and the hero and the heroine are just trying to resolve everything at the end. That's where all the explosions happen. It's where you always get the scene with the bad guy and the good guy face off and, you know, fight each other for 10 minutes. And that's where all the very expensive sets get blown up in movies. It's the finale. And that is actually the denouement at the end there. The point that the reader was asking me about is that 75% mark. She said 70, but it's around about there. That's actually called the black moment. That's where everything comes to a head. That's where the emotions are highest. That's where the characters are tested the most. It's where they tend to look at each other and wonder and have their highest anxiety moments about whether this is going to work or not. So yes, there is a reason why you keep noticing that at 70% of the way through, there's a lot of high emotional scenes. I would like to say that not all of them are the I love you moments, because usually that's towards the end of the book. But at that 70 to 75% mark, yes, there's very high emotion. One of the more interesting things is when I was first getting into writing, I used to study a lot of Mills and Boon novels. If you're in North America, you would know them as Harlequin Presents novels, romance novels, the little thin category novels. I used to read a lot of those, and I started deconstructing them so that I could learn how to write them properly. Now, if you want to talk about noticing things happening at the 70% mark, you should deconstruct Mills and Boon novels. They are almost identical. When I went through and broke these novels down, there are 10 chapters of 20 pages each, 200 pages overall, and you know that in that chapter 17, I can't quite remember which one it was, but whatever chapter it was, when they got to the I love you moment, it was the same place every single book. It was that formulaic. Now that's what they mean when they talk about formulaic romance novels. When people want to spit on romance genre, the genre in general, that's usually what they're thinking of, is those little category novels that are so identical to each other that, well, my mum used to read them in about 2 hours flat, but they're so identical, but they provide all the emotional intensity that the readers are looking for, and that's why they're so popular. But yeah, they were very, very structured and rigid and identical. Okay, any questions while we're here? I'm just looking at comments here. I'm remembering to scroll this week, which is good. So there doesn't seem to be anything. Everyone wave at me so I know that you're there. You're welcome, Maren. She said thank you. So now, okay, I'm going to try. I'm wondering if, because I put comments in the comments myself, if that's what kicked me out of the last video. But there's no other way to share the goodies this week, and I did promise goodies. So this could be another experiment. If I suddenly disappear, come and look for part 3. We'll try it again. Thank you, Ingrid. Yes, I can see you. Ingrid, yes. Mills and Boon formula, page 100 was always the first time making love. Yes, it was. They really were that predictable. Still are, I presume. It's been a very long while since I read one. So, but I promised you some swag this week. So let's see if I can do this without crashing the system. I don't know what it is about links with me this week. It's just awful. One of the things that I wanted to do is I'm going to give you a bonus. This is not something that I usually hand out to everyone. It's something that readers get when they buy one of the Scandalous Scions books. And it is the prequel, the setup, and actually, if you want to be technical, because Scandalous Scions was a spin-off from the Scandalous Sirens series, which was 3 books, this story takes place halfway between the 2 of them. So it finishes off that original series, and it sets up the Scandalous Scions series, and it's a little novelette called Lost at Sea. And I had one reader contact me during the week. Unfortunately, she had read Scandalous Scions first, which is the second series, went back to read the first series, and I mean in the second series she knew that Seth had passed on. Got to the first series and got to meet Seth and got so upset because she knew that he was going to pass on later on, she couldn't finish the book. But anyway, I suggested to her that she get hold of a copy of Lost at Sea because Seth has his final appearance in that book and just has a little moment with him and Natasha. So I'm going to copy and paste the Hello Elizabeth, hi. Just copying in. Let's see how that goes. The link. Now that link will take you to BookFunnel, and it will ask you to sign up for my newsletter. So heads up, don't get a nasty shock. However, if you're already signed up for the newsletter, you'll just get an email saying, here's the link for the book, and that's it. You won't have to go through all the rigmarole that comes with a new subscription. If you are not subscribed to my newsletter, you can sign up for the newsletter and stay on the newsletter if you want, or you can just get the book and unsubscribe. Completely up to you. But BookFunnel will ask you to fill in the form. So just fill in the form. It's not a big deal. You can unsub as soon as you want, and then you'll get a copy of the book. That's Lost at Sea, and there is a blurb on the BookFunnel page if you go there. And the second, excuse me. Okay, Beth has put in comments here. There is a page about X-ray, which I'm going to check out myself later on because this is all new to me. There apparently is something called X-ray, so I'll have to check that one out for next time some reader asks me about X-ray, because I don't use Kindle at all. So second piece of candy for Halloween is a copy of Rose of Ebony. Now, Rose of Ebony is the prequel novelette that comes at the very beginning of the Scandalous Scions series. And a lot of people have picked this one up already because it is perma-free on all the booksellers. But for those of you who don't get to all the booksellers or aren't familiar with my books, and you're welcome everyone who's thumbed up. Here is a link. Okay, let's see how that goes. This is a link to get Rose of Ebony, and this one is, you can just download it from my site. And if you've never bought anything direct from me, it will ask you to put in your information and stuff like that. But it is a secure site. You can tell from the S that's in the address. So there's no danger there. You can give me your information without any fear. And even I can't access it, by the way. That's just, it's your private information that the server keeps. And then on top of that, I told you it's a swag week. There's lots of Halloween candy floating around. My version of candy instead of the actual sugar stuff. Although, you know, if there was a hedgehog lying around, I could probably eat it right now. So we've had like the first Lost at Sea, Rose of Ebony, now Soul of Sin you can get free. This is not free on booksellers, but I'm doing a giveaway, and this just happens off in the background all the time. I have a giveaway running. And I'm just going to put this in comments. There we go. Now, the giveaway includes, at the end of the quarter, there is a signed print copy of Soul of Sin and a $10 gift card for any bookseller anywhere, and two $5 gift cards. But on top of that, everyone who enters gets a copy of Soul of Sin, gratis, free, and that's just something that you get just so you can enter a competition and actually win something. That's something for everyone. That's actually what swag means, by the way. I don't know if you are aware of that. The word is an acronym that stands for something we all get. There, a little bit of trivia for the day. So there is the third book, which is via the giveaway, and that means that you've got 1, 2, 3 from the historical series. If you're not into the series at all, then that will set you up so that you can go straight into the other 9 books. If you like them, and a lot of people do. So okay, any questions while I'm still here? And Ingrid, great, yes, the link did not crash me. I'm having bad luck with links, so that's good to know. Heather, a great read. I'm presuming you mean Rose of Ebony. I'm not sure, but hello, I didn't realize you were here either. Okay, and I've covered all my notes for right now, so unless anyone's got any questions, we may start wandering towards wrapping this up. Just let me know. But, and if you've got, so Heather says yes, she's talking about Rose of Ebony. Okay, it is a good read. I happen to like it. Any more votes for Halloween candy? We've got Almond Joy and Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, which I personally would prefer hedgehogs, but they're not a usual Halloween candy. And just to wrap up, I don't know if you caught this originally, at the very top of the comments bar, or down there if it's down there for you, there is the 3 little dots in a row. If you click on that, there is an option in there to subscribe to live notifications. If you click on that and subscribe, then every time I do a live Facebook, you will get a notification pop up like an alert on Facebook, and it will give you, this is the better part, it will give you a link directly to the videos so that you don't have to come to the page and search around looking for it, because sometimes the videos can get buried underneath other posts and stuff like that. So that in future, if I happen to say, like today, if the feed gives out and I have to start up another one, then that will pop up with a second notification, and then you can just click straight over. Cheryl, thank you. Yes. News about November releases. Okay, there we go. November. Oh, yes, November. Oh, how silly of me. I talked about them last week and I got very enthusiastic, and I thought, so we'll just behave this week. But November 11. November 11, I have a novelette coming out called Time and Remembrance. It's part of the Kiss Across Time series, which is time travel, and it's on November 11 because that is the 100th anniversary of Armistice Day, which most of North America knows as Remembrance Day. But it is 100 years since the end of the First World War. And I wanted to mark that date because it's significant for me. I'm, you know, history buff and all that sort of stuff. It sort of seemed wrong to just let it go without marking it in some way. So I wrote a story that's part of the Kiss Across Time series, where they travel back to France on November 11th in 1918. That book will be out on November 11th. And so I'm kind of looking forward to that one. If you buy it direct from me, you do get it a week early, just as I do with all my other pre-orders. Yeah, if I had been able to figure out a way where it got released at 11 o'clock on the 11th of the 11th, that would have been perfect. But Amazon are a bit of a control freak, so all I could do was just say put it out on November 11th. But there's that one coming out. And sheer coincidence, on the 15th, because I wrote this book before I wrote the November 11th one, is the next book in the Kiss Across Time series, like the full novel. This one is Kiss Across Tomorrow. The street team just got their copy this morning, and I'm dying to see what everyone thinks of this one, because there are some major twists in this, and I can't say much more than that. It's very difficult to talk about the story without putting spoilers down. If you're on the street team and you've read any of the books so far, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm so looking forward to seeing what everyone thinks of that one. And that is coming out on November 15th. I'm looking forward to seeing what the reaction is. And that's the November releases. So, and Heather says she started already. CJ, hello CJ. CJ is looking forward to November 11th. And Audrey's like, oh no for what? I'm not sure what that means. I would talk about the December release. That's December 13, but except off the top of my head, I can't quite remember what it is. Yes, I do. Of course, it's Pendragon Rises. It's book 3 of the Once and Future Hearts series. That's the King Arthur series that I've been doing. I've been having enormous fun with the King Arthur series, because King Arthur's been my favorite mythology forever. I don't know if you remember me last week raving on about my my Druid tarot cards. Here. They're all Celtic mythology. It's all Arthurian, all that good stuff. But anyway, Arthur's my thing, so I'm having enormous fun with the King Arthur series. Book 3 comes out December 13, a week early if you pre-order from me, of course. I don't know if I could say that too many times, but and that brings us up to the end of the year, and then we're into the new releases, which are all lined up as pre-orders right now, which I just told you about 2 of them in the other video. If you would like me to drop the links for those 2 pre-orders into this one, let me know and I'll put them in again. Okay, Beth, could I get the code again for Book Funnel? Yes, of course. Hang on, let me just get it here. And I'm going to hit enter and let's see if everything crashes. So far, no. So yeah, Beth, if you have a look there, you'll see it in comments now. Audrey says, was going to read Time and Remembrance first. Now I don't know if I can wait. Oh, that's why the oh no. I'm not going to try and influence you one way or the other, Audrey. In fact, they're both separate stories. Time and Remembrance, kind of in time terms, it sort of happens in the middle of Kiss Across Tomorrow, but it's like it's its own separate little story that's sort of off to one side and doesn't have any impact on Kiss Across Tomorrow. And when you've read both of them, you'll understand what that means. It's kind of, I had to play with a little jiggle the times and things like that just to make Time and Remembrance work. But I figured because of the date and the story itself that everyone would forgive me for a bit of the fudging that went on with the dates. So read them in whatever order you want. It doesn't really matter. But I am still waiting to hear the screams. So any more questions? Any more links? Anyone want anything repeated again? And don't forget to sign up for the live notifications, because that will really help next time this happens. Apparently Facebook kicks people out quite often, so especially if you have, and this is a fairly secure internet connection too, and I was kind of surprised when it booted me, but there you go, things happen. So any more questions? let me know in comments, or, and as I said earlier, if you're shy and don't want to put them in comments, feel free to email them to me during the week and I will deal with them in next week's Facebook Live. In the meantime, Audrey says, I really appreciate you doing these videos. You're more than welcome. I'm feeling much more relaxed about them. I don't know if you saw my first one. I was so uptight, it was not funny. This one I kind of dawdled up to the computer just before it went live, which is hilarious. It only took me 3 weeks to get used to it. So, although I have to remember to stop saying terrible habit. Okay, no more comments. Now that you've got all your freebies and your candy for Halloween, enjoy. I hope you have a great week. Don't eat too much of the real candy when you're handing it out, and I will see you next week. I'm not sure what I'm going to be talking about next week. I'm sure it'll be another jumble of questions and answers and weird stuff, but I'll see you then. Bye.